What's up, folks? Maximilian here, and welcome back to more
Arcade Stories!
a collection and compilation of quite a few stories that I've had growing up in arcades for the majority of my life, to the point of which they're at now, and they're practically non-existent, but it's kind of one of those things to share with everybody and show them how awesome it was. So, previous episode we were talking about a few different things. I think we were talking about Dance Dance Revolution. That's right, Max used to be a DDR player before there was anybody that was even considered DDR players. And that game was a ton of fun, dude. I really did enjoy it. For the most part, later on when the game was out and the series continued to like 4th and 5th mix, that's where I kind of really got burned out. That was around, I'd say like 2002, maybe 2003 or so. I was just totally effing done with that game at that time, and there was just everyone and their mother playing DDR. Hate to be one of those hipster guys where it's like, I like DDR before everybody, but it kind of feels that way, which kind of sucks. Like, I hate myself for feeling that way. That when it became super mainstream and popular and everybody was playing, I didn't hate the game as much, I just didn't care about playing nearly as much as I used to. So it kind of fell by the wayside. For any of you asking Max put up a DDR video, absolutely not. Dude, that was 15 years ago. You know, some of you aren't even that old. Like, you don't even realize how long ago that was. I'm not putting up DDR videos anytime soon. Those days are long behind me and back when I was a wee teenager. So, moving on, Arcade Stories continues with another game that I probably have put the most money into over any arcade game that I have ever played. Ever. I must have put at least $2,000 into these games over the span of, geez, like a couple of years. So much of my extra money and all the, from like working retail and stuff like that, every other given moment, me and like 3 or 4 of my friends and about, actually 5 to 6 of them would go down and play this game non-stop till the evening hours, and it is called Initial D Arcade Stage. For you guys that don't know, Initial D Arcade Stage is a popularized and arcade version of the Initial D anime series, which revolves around a young boy who's a tofu driver who actually drives tofu up and down a mountain for his father, and in the process of driving tofu up and down the mountain as fast as he can possibly get it down the mountain, learns the essentials of drifting and is a hidden prodigy as far as a drifting and race master. And he drives this old beat-up Toyota AE86. So later on in the series, the car gets, you know, souped up with a super engine, and everyone realizes how amazing this kid Takumi is at racing. And it's actually a pretty fun series to watch. I would totally encourage you guys to watch the originals, because it's so hilariously CG bad. But if you want to watch some really good Initial D, I think fourth stage is where it gets completely awesome. So that's about it on the history of the anime series. So they made a video game off of it. And the biggest reason why this game was so damn popular in the arcades, I played it heavily from arcade stage 1 to 2 to 3, and a bit of 4, and that's where I stopped. This game was made by Sega and Sega Rosa, who were the original guys some creators of the original Sega Rally series and Daytona. It wasn't all of them, but it was a few. It was like a specific Sega racing team. These guys made games that I absolutely loved as a kid, and still love to this day. Sega racing games hold a real special place in my heart as far as being some of the most amazing arcade experiences. Like, if you guys ever played a full motion tilting 4-player Sega Super GT or Scud Racer in an arcade with 4 friends at the same time, it is something absolutely freaking magical. Same thing goes for Daytona USA. If you ever gotten the 12 or like 16-man cabinets where they're just lined up around an entire room and you're all playing Daytona together, that stuff cannot be beat as far as being an amazing experience. And Initial D was only 2 players. You didn't have that many people to play with, but what it had was this card reading system where you put in a card and you can actually level up your car. That's right, you can actually add equipment, add different things, upgrade your engine, upgrade your steering, all this kind of crazy stuff to make your car awesome. And when you played other people, when you battled other people, you essentially leveled up the car where you got certain effects on it, like auras, like the energy of a racer, like rising around your car, and it was just one of those cool things to show off. So amongst my friends and everybody else, I didn't know much about Initial D yet. I got into the series after it, and everyone was picking, like, the WRXs, the Subaru WRX. Everyone was picking the Evolution 4 or 6, or whatever the hell it was. Everyone was picking the RX-7s and the Mazda cars, the rotary cars, and I was just like, I don't know if any of these cars are doing it for me. I picked up the old beat-up one, like The one that just looked like it came out of a kid's garage in 1987, and it was totally the Toyota AE86, the Hachiroku. So I picked up this car, and it's just terrible. Until you level the vehicle up to its engine level up, which actually happens in the anime series as well. That's when Takumi actually becomes freaking amazing, and it's totally awesome. And that's the same thing in the game. You gotta level it up to a point where it's actually decent. And the thing with the A86 is that it's not a beginner's car at all. If you actually want to learn how to get good with the game, especially with manual steering, you have to do manual steering in this game to actually be good at racing people. Not manual steering, manual shifting. And if you don't, you're just going to lose every single fight. And once I got the thing upgraded, things got a lot of fun. I actually started learning the intricacies of this game and how to take drifts at the optimal entering and exiting speed and turning angles and all this crazy stuff. Like, racing stuff that is so much fun, and it's such a blast to get good at Initial D. It's probably one of the best time attack games there is, by the way. Time attack meaning that you're going for course records. So many people went for course records. Like, that's what everyone really wanted to do, was to be the best on a course in any specific time. Or Akana Downhill was definitely one of the most popular ones. Akana is was the mountain that Takumi took down, or drove down with his tofu in the back, and had to balance the tofu while drifting, going at like 60 miles an hour down this crazy mountain course. And that's the most popular one. When it came to later in the Initial D series, we had been playing the game quite a bit for a really long time, and since all my friends were so enamored with the series, we were just obsessed with it. We went down there and played it all the time. It was probably the time of my life where I was the most into cars absolutely ever. And it was amazing too, because I actually owned a 1990 Nissan 240SX at the time, and that car was actually in the show, I believe. Nonetheless, it was the Japanese variant of it, and it was an absolute blast just in appreciating cars. One time, me and my friends all went down and we had an idea. There was this episode called the Gum Tape Deathmatch, where in Initial D, these characters had gum tape around their hands, and you had to gum tape one hand to the steering wheel, and the other hand would be used for shifting. And because of this, it made it extremely difficult for them to turn in the show, and it was actually extremely dangerous because you didn't have the ability to turn the wheel as much and actually make the complete drift or the complete turn. So there's like moments where both the characters like almost die or crash several times within this episode, and it's a very intense episode. And me and my friends stopped by like a CVS before, and we buy all of this gum tape, and we go to Family Fun Arcade. And Tim was actually there at the time. It's pretty funny. Tim has been working there for so damn long. And we get in front of the Initial D machine. It's like right in front of the counter, and we line up. We begin playing. Me and my friends go 1-to-1 at the same time. We make sure we're playing at the same time because there's always a line for this game. And we duct tape, or not really duct tape, we gum tape our hands to the wheel. We have another friend do it for us, and we just have our shifting hand and this, and we have to actually play the game just like in the show. God, it was so cheesy, but it was so much damn fun. Back in the day, there were so many dudes around us going like, "Oh shit, it's just like the show!" And like Tim was getting this huge laugh out of it, and everyone was having a real good time. We were like screaming at each other. It was a lot of fun. That was one of those evenings that I'll never forget, and I believe it was recorded like, gosh man, like 8-10 years ago now. Not that long ago, at least like 5-6 years ago. Nonetheless, it was one of those amazing evenings at an arcade that I'll never forget. Aside from that, there was some other real crazy evenings. Like, there used to be this thing called, I think it was called California Speed Zone. It's down in, like, Azusa or something like that. It's a huge, like, family get-together with, like, a racetrack, you know, and go-karts, and mini-golf and stuff like that. But what they really had was in the arcade was just nothing but racing games. Like, every single racing game you could imagine at the time was in this arcade, and it was effing awesome, and they had Initial D. So they had $10 Tuesdays where you pay $10 and you get unlimited access to all the arcade machines. And this was going to be the perfect avenue, we thought, to level up our cars and do all this crazy stuff and get good at the game. We thought. Initial D was so popular back in the day that there were lines for this thing out the ass. Like, they needed 10 more machines to support the amount of people that were playing. It effing sucked, but at the same time, if you stayed there late enough, everyone had to go to work, but we did as well. We just stayed there later enough, we're past 11 o'clock. Everyone else left, we were going to lose sleep, but we just played the hell out of it. Mind you, from where we lived, it took like 2.5 hours to actually get to this arcade, so we were spending a lot of time there. But for the most part, that's where I actually got really good at the game with my friends at this arcade, going super late, everyone chilling out, playing some Initial D, and having it be a total effing blast. Initial D is one of those games that'll definitely stay in my heart because, my god, man, I played it so much. From the second version to the third version, I would go to this place called Japan Arcade in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles, and they would always have the latest Initial D there that was from Japan, and I'd have Japanese cards and I'd have American cards, and those didn't interchange with each other, so it was a little bit of a kind of a cluster and a mess at the time. However, you got to play the new game, like the brand new game that just came out in Japan early. That was so completely awesome. Everyone was taking videos and everyone was trying to learn strategies and stuff like that, but by the time the fourth stage came out, I had just lost interest. I was kind of done with it at the time, and my Hachiroku days had finally been exhausted. But it was fun being the kid that was really good with an 8-6 for a very long time. The 8-6 got really good, I think, in third stage with a couple of drifting techniques. But yeah, dude, that was an interesting period of my life, being obsessed with Initial D for quite some time. And due to it, I'm still kind of a fan of Eurobeat and that Initial D style of music. That shit is still totally awesome, and I can kind of listen to it even until this day. So thank you guys very much for tuning into another Arcade Stories. If you have something you'd like me to cover or a specific arcade game that you'd like to see me talk about, there's a good chance there might be a story of it sitting within my recited memory, and I'd be more than happy to go over it. This stuff actually makes me really happy talking about this with you guys, especially the response that you guys give, because it's a part of my past that I am not ashamed to talk about, and it's something that needs to be shared, because one day they'll be in, like, history books. There'll be this crazy segment in a history book talking about technology where people actually gathered in public to play video games that individually cost money each and every time. The child looking at it will be saying, "Man, it's so weird," and this other kid will be like, "My dad told me about this, it was crazy." I can only hope that is the case. Thanks very much for watching, guys. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.